Hey friends, my name is Jen and the Galaxy A55 surprised me in a very positive way. I had the pleasure of testing the Galaxy A55 during my vacation and the question occurred to me, isn't the Galaxy A55 more than just mid-range? The design of the Galaxy A55 does not initially reveal that it is a mid-range smartphone because with the rounded edges and the flat display, it looks very modern like this year's Galaxy S24 series. The back is made of Corning Gorilla Glass and the frame is made of brushed aluminum. If you choose the light colors like Awesome Ice Blue, Awesome Lemon or, like my test sample here, Awesome Lilac, you have almost no problem with fingerprints on the back of the glass, though this is less true with the dark blue model. And if there's one thing Samsung can do, it's building displays. The 6.6-inch Super AMOLED display made of Corning Gorilla Glass Victus Plus has a refresh rate of up to 120 Hz and is only up to 1000 nits bright, but I had no problems reading the display in direct sunlight, which surprised me very much. The display edges also surprised me, although in a negative sense. Samsung really puts a lot of effort into building a modern, high-quality smartphone and then adds display edges onto the device that completely ruin the modern look, at least from the front view. The display edges are much too thick and also asymmetrical, namely thicker at the bottom than at the top. It's like wearing a Chanel haute couture dress and then wearing sandals and socks with it. Simply inappropriate and completely wrong. What is definitely not wrong is the camera. On the contrary, I was more than a little surprised at how good the recordings are. The Galaxy A55 has a 50 megapixel wide-angle camera, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera and a 5 megapixel macro camera. The front camera has a whopping 32 megapixel resolution and even enables videos in 4K. And as always with me, you can decide for yourself how good the camera is. I think the Galaxy A55's camera should be completely sufficient for most people who want to take a few photos or videos in everyday life or on vacation. What's new in the A series is that the Galaxy A55 can now also take dual recordings with the front and main cameras. With features like these and a really good front and main camera, the A55 quickly becomes interesting for those who are active on social media and don't want to buy a flagship. The built-in Exynos 1480 processor also does a really good job. Samsung is currently installing its own processors in all new devices with the exception of the Galaxy S24 Ultra. And I tested the Exynos 1480 in the A55 and also the Exynos 2400 in the S24 and S24 Plus, and it completely convinced me. The handling is super smooth, nothing jerks or stutters when scrolling, opening and closing apps or running them in split view. And yes, I know the benchmarks for Exynos, which say that even the current Exynos processors are inferior to a Snapdragon. But friends, in order to make these benchmarks, these devices are pushed to their limits with rendering videos and other highly complex tasks, which has absolutely nothing to do with everyday performance. I wouldn't even think of rendering videos on my S24 Ultra. The fact is that the new Exynos processors run smoothly in all current Samsung devices without problems. Of course, it was very different 2 years ago, but the world has moved on, people and things change and develop. You should be able to deal with that, and that's why we can stop bashing the Exynos now, because in everyday life with taking photos, I don't see any difference in operating and scrolling apps compared to a Snapdragon, and you won't either. In terms of energy efficiency, the processor also has an impact on battery performance, and this is good. That's often the case with mid-range smartphones, that the battery is saved in order to reduce the price. Like the S24 Ultra, the Galaxy A55 also has a 5000 mAh battery that lasts just as long. I get about 7 to 8 hours of display on time. For me, that's a full 2 days. For people who use their smartphone less, the battery can last for more than 2 days, which I personally find enormous for a mid-range smartphone. Then there are a few things that you unfortunately have to do without with the Galaxy A55. This includes wireless charging, Samsung DeX, and the new AI functions such as the live translator and circle to search, as we know from the Galaxy S24 series. Also, instead of the 7-year update guarantee, there are only the previous 4-year OS and 5-year security updates. But everyone has to decide for themselves how important these criteria are for them personally. What is always an important criterion for me personally is weight. Of course, a nice large display is great for watching videos and films and as well as riding, but a large display always adds weight. And the weight of the Galaxy A55 is quite heavy at 230 grams. For comparison, the Galaxy S24 Plus, which is roughly the same size, weighs 70 grams less and has wireless charging on board. Or the Nothing Phone 2A, which is also the same size and weighs 190 grams, a whopping 23 grams less, plus it doesn't wear sandals with socks with a Chanel dress. The Galaxy A55 does so much right with a modern design, great camera, good processor and excellent battery life that you might think the hefty €479 might be justified. What Samsung has painstakingly built up with their hands is partly torn down again with the butt, namely the thick display edges and the weight. In my opinion, the Galaxy A55 is a top mid-range smartphone, or even better in many areas. But in some ways, it just wears socks with sandals. I hope you enjoyed my review of the Galaxy A55 today. If so, please hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to this channel because it helps me a lot to grow this channel. Friends, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye and see you next time. Mwah.